Hello, good afternoon, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton Daily Live. It's Monday, the 3rd of November. Everton are in action tonight at Sunderland, back in Premier League action. What we're going to do on a Monday is going to mix it up a little bit on a Monday. We're going to have decided basically, that we will have a weekend recap. So we'll have a little look at the Premier League results and the league table and stuff. We'll take a couple of things out of what we've seen, and then we're going to move on today. Definitely me and James are going to move on to Sunderland, Everton tonight and things like that. So if we just have a look at the results from the weekend, we'll go over that, all the Premier League results from Saturday. There you can see we've got Brighton 3, Leeds United 0. Good result for Brighton over the weekend. They hit and miss, aren't they, Brighton? They keep looking like a side that's going to be... it's going to do really well. Then they have a couple of ropey results, and then they pick back up and start winning again. And then you almost think, yeah, I'm convinced again now by Brighton. But they had a good result there at the weekend, 3-0. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Arsenal impressive, as always. Went and got that job done. And it looks, I mean, is it too early to say they're walking away with it? 7 points clear, but it's looking like it could be theirs to lose for Mikel Arteta. But another solid result for them, winning 2-0 at Burnley. Crystal Palace back to winning ways for them. A 2-0 victory over Brentford at home. Jean-Philippe Mateta continuing his excellent form. And an own goal from Nathan Collins. Fulham 3, Wolves 0. Big win for Marco Silva there. Wolves, well, that resulted in Vitor Pereira being sacked yesterday. More on that in a minute. But session, Harry Wilson with that cutting him with his left foot as normal goal, and an own goal from Mosquera. Nottingham Forest 2, Manchester United 2 at the City Ground. Sean Dyche getting his first point as Forest manager. Casemiro give United the lead. Gibbs White and Savano, 2 goals in a couple of minutes, put Forest ahead before Ahmed's brilliant volley late on got United a point. Spurs 0, Chelsea 1. João Pedro deciding the game, but it really was a one-sided game. Have a look at that in a bit. Liverpool back to winning ways for them. Mo Salah and Gravenberch gave them a 2-0 win over Aston Villa. And then moving on to yesterday, Nuno Espirito Santo getting his first victory as a West Ham manager, beating Newcastle 3-1. Jacob Murphy gave Newcastle a lead. Paqueta, Soucek, Sven Botman own goal in between, gave West Ham a 3-1 win. And then Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 1. Erling Haaland at it again with a brace. Nico O'Reilly, Tyler Adams had equalised for Bournemouth. We take a look at the league table. The top half first in the Premier League, as we said, Arsenal, 25 points, 8 wins from their opening 10 Premier League matches, only conceded 3 goals, which is absolutely fantastic for them. Manchester City up into second place on 19 points. Big game for them. Next, Liverpool at home next week. Liverpool back into third spot. Their first win in a while. Struck them back up there. Bournemouth in fourth on 4. Where are they on? 18 as well. Sorry, then Manchester. Tottenham in 17th. Their next game, Manchester United. We've got Chelsea on 17. Sunderland 17. Sunderland can go second if they beat Everton tonight. United there in 8th. Palace and Brighton. Then we look at the bottom half. And it's just the bottom of the table where we're really looking at, isn't it? Wolves, 2 points for them, resulting in Pereira's sacking. Lost the last 3 now. Nottingham Forest next on 6 points. West Ham on 7. And then Burnley, Leeds, outside that, Everton, Fulham. And then we've got Newcastle, Brentford and Villa. If Everton were to win tonight, they would move into 12th spot above Brentford, Newcastle and Fulham. And it's a big game. So there you go. There's the weekend scores and league table. James has joined me, although it's on me, but I'm sure
it's coming over now.
It's coming over in a sec to me and James. He is here. I'm not on my own, honestly. Here he is. James, let's have a look at a few of the things over the weekend, stuff really that stuck out and that has caught our eye. And first and foremost, we have to start with Vitor Pereira being sacked. I always thought they started the season really poorly, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then they gave him a 3-year contract extension. which I thought was absolutely mad. But they've played 10 Premier League games, no victories, 2 draws, 8 defeats. And they did go out of the Carabao Cup as well last week to Chelsea as well. So it was inevitable he was going to be sacked, wasn't it?
It's just a bit of a mad one, really, isn't it, the whole situation? Because he even came out now and spoke, saying that he regrets not leaving at the end of last season, stuff like that. And it's like, if he regretted not leaving at the end of last season, why did he just sign a new deal? And obviously, there was them videos that came out where he was arguing with the fans, and confronting them, essentially. And it's all just a bit weird with Wolves, isn't it? Because obviously the big talking point was Strand Larsen leaving towards the end of the window and stuff like that, and then he stayed, and you thought that meant that they'd sort of kick on, because they've kept like the main centre forward, but they haven't, and it's just a bit
meh.
Yeah. I know obviously they beat Everton in the Carabao Cup, but in the league they were terrible as well. It's just, I don't know what's happened with them.
It is weird, isn't it? It's it's sort of a weird situation. You look at them, I don't think they're, you know what, mate, they've reminded me a little bit of Everton in the last few years. What happened with us when obviously all of the PSR stuff started, and we started cutting our quality and cutting it and not really replacing it. And that's what's happened with Wolves. If you look at the Wolves side from 2 or 3 years ago, it had a lot more quality. You know, obviously you've had like Mateus Cunha was there, Cunha was there, they had Aït-Nouri, Ruben Neves, João Martino. You know, you're looking at people like this. People who've been, those players have gradually left the football club. And even though Wolves have brought players in, they've not been to the level of the player going out. And you're right, they did well to keep Strand Larsen in the summer. But he wants it out, didn't he?
I know, that's what I mean. It's just like, nothing really looks positive there at the minute, does it? It's obviously, it feels like it's the right move, isn't it? Because you can't have your manager fronting your fans and just everyone talking so poorly about it. And it's just one goal Strand Larsen's had this season. It's like 55 million Newcastle offered. It's like, was that the right decision in the end? I don't know. It's a weird one, but it's be scary to be Wolves.
It's odd, isn't it? It is odd. Another thing I noticed from this weekend, which was I found, well, there was a couple of things. I watched Spurs Chelsea, and I couldn't believe how poor Tottenham were, to be honest. And it wound me up that we lost to them the week before, because I thought Everton control the game the week before. Spurs were excellent at set pieces, scored 2 of them, and obviously just got the 3rd on a breakaway, but they were really way off it at the weekend. There was a combination of Chelsea played well, Spurs were all over the place.
Yeah.
How it didn't end 5 or 6-0, I don't know. Vicario's made 10 saves, I think, in the game. And
Vicario had a great game.
He did have a great game, and Chelsea missed some absolute gilt-edged chances, particularly like Gittins at the end, blazing the back row of the stand and everything when he wanted to think it over the keeper. Tottenham were just, there was nothing. There was really nothing from them.
It just felt like they were pressing, but they were sort of pressing in the wrong areas, that they were just leaving themselves so exposed every time. And it's just, they didn't really have that many like attacking moments, and it just felt weird, considering, I know against Everton, obviously.
Did they have a single shot on target? I don't think they had a shot on target, you know.
Stats. 1
shot on
3
target. 3
in total.
Which is, and how many did Chelsea had?
15 shots, 9 on target.
Yeah, 9 from 9
6 big chances Chelsea had.
That's what I mean. I honestly, it should have been 5 or 6-0.
Absolutely. Joe could have easily had a hat-trick on the day.
And it's absolutely, it was crazy. I was so poor. I really was so poor.
Ridiculously well, didn't he, for their goal?
Yeah, absolutely. But what was really poor about it was, you know, not only did they not really lay a glove on Chelsea, there was a situation at the end where Thomas Frank walks onto the pitch when the final whistle goes, and Van der Ven, who, let's be honest, is a bit of a gobshite. He's a good player, but we saw at Hill Dickinson, he's a gobshite. He just walks off, him and Jed Spence. Thomas Frank says, go and clap the fans, the pair of them ignore him, and walk off. And he turns around and he's just looking at them, Frank, and they've got no interest, and really so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
How do you sort of feel about how Thomas Frank has done at Tottenham? Because you see loads of people, like online Spurs fans, and they keep booing them, don't they, at home? Because
they're terrible at home.
And but they're also the 3rd, aren't they? And they were what?
They were up there. They're in 5th at the moment, but they're 1 point off
Yeah,
third, and they're 2 points off second. You know what I mean? But they got 13 points out of 15 away, and they got 2 at home, and that's why they're getting booed, because they're dreadful. They drew at home with Wolves, who were rock bottom. You know, they lost at home to Bournemouth, they've lost at home to Villa, they've lost at home to Chelsea. The only victory they had at home was day one, wasn't it? So you've had 1 win at home, sorry.
Yeah.
The only win they beat Burnley on the opening day, didn't they? Remember, Charlison scored a couple. Other than that, they've done that, which is why I think the Spurs fans are frustrated. But I said last week in my match reaction after our game, I was really surprised how sort of the way Tottenham played. With so many good players, it was like they were playing for corners and throw-ins. And Thomas Frank's a really good manager, and Tottenham have got really good players, but is it the right mix? I don't know. I think I always expect Spurs to be a little bit more expansive than what they were against us, and this was the case on Saturday. I just didn't feel like they were expansive at all, and Chelsea just picked them off.
No, they were doing that thing again where they would dance over, they were taking 5 minutes for like long throw-ins and stuff like that, and it's like, I feel like there's a level that Tottenham should be at, and it shouldn't be there. But it's funny, isn't it, that sort of not the two big talk, which is something, 2 people we've mentioned is Strand Larson and sort of Thomas Frank, which were 2 people we were trying to get Everton to get both of them a few months ago, and it's weird that both of them could be an opportunity that comes up again for Everton.
I think with Thomas Frank, I think he's a really good manager, and I think what he's good at is marginal gains and working with. Now, there might just be a little bit of a leveling out period at Spurs where they've got to get used to him, and he has to be a little bit more used to how good a quality player Tottenham do have, because he's done brilliantly with Brentford, but the level of play was way below, not way, but it was below what Tottenham's were, and obviously Spurs' expectations. So, and I think that'll, just right now, they just look a bit unsure of what they're doing, other than corners and throw-ins, you know what I mean, when they've got real quality. But don't forget, they still got quality players, out Kulusevski and players like that who will come back in and make them better. But I was disappointed with them. And Chelsea just an odd team. Chelsea just got unbelievable squad of players, spent crazy amounts of money, and still I can't work out whether they're the real deal or they aren't.
Do you not think it's weird with Chelsea that maybe Cole Palmer's the only one, but you look at the team and player for player, they've spent $2 billion, and is there anyone really like...
He's unbelievable class.
Like, you know, the way you look at like a City and you've got Haaland, you had like De Bruyne, Liverpool had like a Salah and stuff like that. Chelsea have spent so much money and they don't really have anyone where you're like, wow.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, Caicedo, to be fair, he is brilliant. He's brilliant.
He is, and he's done really well for the goal. But I just think how much money they've spent, and you look at the squad, it's like ridiculous.
Still like potentially, aren't they? They're still like potential rather than going, he's unbelievable, he's for the money they've spent. But suppose if they keep Reece James fit, and he played well again at the weekend, if he can stay fit, he's quality, and there's good players there. They've got a really good squad. But if you suppose you're looking at real standouts every week, when Palmer was in every week a couple of years ago, whatever it was, he was every week. You knew he was the best player, but then they're still doing well without him.
Yeah. Well,
and they should.
Fell off a bit as well, didn't he?
Yeah. But I'm saying well without him. They're 2 points off second, but they're 8 points behind. But I thought it was an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see Thomas Frank when he's questioned about Van der Ven and Spence, obviously publicly sort of going against his wishes. I always think it's dangerous ground, but we'll see. Mark was asking why aren't we talking about Everton, but talking about the weekend. Everton haven't played for a start, and we will get on to Everton. So there you go. One other thing from the weekend is Haaland, who is just a robot.
Literally this weekend, because he done the robot celebration.
He did, but it wasn't great. It's Joker. I don't know whether you've seen that video the other day when he went out dressed as the Joker. He went to buy nappies or diapers, as he was calling them, and he just went to like some garage to like buy them, and he was surprised that people recognised him. You know, like, going, how did you recognise
the size?
You're 6'5" with that hair, and it looks like you, but you're the Joker. But he certainly isn't a joke. See what I did there?
Nice.
Isn't a joker when he's running through on goal, and he's unbelievable, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's absolutely unbelievable.
It's just he somehow when he gets the ball, he looks like he's an adult and he's playing with kids. And they're like other big fellas around him, and he looks massive compared to them still.
Yeah.
And it's like the confidence that he's just got when he gets the ball, it's like, yeah, it's a goal. You don't, and even if he misses it, you're like, yeah, well, he's going to score the next one anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it's not like his confidence has ever dropped. And it's before that, what's the fella who scored the other goal? Nico O'Reilly, is it? Before him, wasn't it something like Haaland scored all 12 of City's last goals?
Something like that.
Something ridiculous, and it's like, it's just inevitable.
He
finished with his left and his right, didn't he, for both goals?
He's just brilliant. He's absolutely crazy good.
And we saw it firsthand, didn't we, when they beat us?
Well, that was it. In that game, he'd done nothing.
Yeah.
He'd literally done nothing in the game. And his first sort of opportunity, he put it on, albeit terrible defender, Michael Keane, running away from him. But it was a good goal. And then Tahi, on the second one, should have run towards him instead of running away from him. Both centre-backs for his goals against us ran away from him.
Yeah.
Where, okay, you might be terrified by him, but you got to go close to him, you know what I mean?
And Ben Godfrey trying to fight him. And he's like pinching him and everything. We need that again.
Yeah.
It's a bit of evilness.
But 13 goals already in the Premier League.
Isn't it the next two as Welbeck and that Ego, and they're on 6 and 5 or something, yeah.
They're on 6, yeah.
And it's like, them combined, he's still above them. Mental.
So he's just unbelievable. And City look like they're getting a little bit of the groove back.
Cherky's some player.
Cherky's brilliant. They could keep him fit. He's like an X-Factor player.
Doku as well.
Rodri can stay fit. City got great players. It's whether they can. It's just, can they get the rhythm going now? If they get the rhythm going, they'll be back in it. Albeit Arsenal got a good lead, but then
Feels
Arsenal
unfair though, doesn't it? Because when they were making subs, I think they brought on Rodri, that Marmouche. Just every player they brought on was like another world class player, and it was like they just never have a fall off no matter what. So if I was Arsenal, I'd be scared of City now.
Well, they will, because Arsenal were, a few years ago, Arsenal were 8 points clear in March. Oh, sorry, the end of February, and City finished 9 points ahead of them in the end. So City will be there. It's a big game for City Sunday. They've got Liverpool at the Etihad. If they beat Liverpool on Sunday, they are right back in it, and that also sort of kills off Liverpool. No, but it would. If Arsenal were to win at the weekend and City beat Liverpool, there'd be 10 points between Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
that. Level on points with Bournemouth.
And they've got to play at the Emirates as well, Liverpool, so they'd have a mountain to climb. But I think for Man City, that'd be a huge sort of boost of like momentum. Get Liverpool beaten, move on, build that momentum.
But how Liverpool's defence has been looking as well recently. Yeah. Haaland might have a field day.
Liverpool generally do quite well at the Etihad, so you'd have to wait and see. But City look like they're on the move. So it's just incredible watching how good Erling Haaland is. So yeah, we'll have to see how many he gets. If he carries on at this rate, bloody hell.
Going for 60.
Break his first season. Yeah, Dixie D might be worried. Yeah, so there you go. That's a little recap of all the stuff that went on in the Premier League this weekend. And of course, Everton's game is the last game of the weekend. I hate Monday night when Everton are on and we're not, again, is it 3 weeks today? We're on again at Manchester United, isn't it?
Fun.
I hate 8 o'clock kickoffs.
I just hate it not being on a weekend. I'd like a Saturday or a Sunday out and just like I don't know, being able to just watch Everton. Feels wrong when there's no footy on the weekend.
I know I'm in the minority here, but I want it. I've been made up with 12:30 every week for Everton. I like to get up and Everton are playing. Yeah. I hate having to wait around for Everton. And like, while on one hand it's good, you just think, well, no Everton, they can't spoil me weekend, you can have a nice pain-free weekend.
Yeah.
That Monday comes and it's like you're waiting for tonight to play. And the other thing as well is psychologically, if you sort of win, if Everton kick off at like 12:30 and win on a Saturday, you jump up all those places before everyone's played.
Yeah.
And then conversely, like now,
pressure's on you.
You start slipping down because everyone's played and we're going in. I know ultimately it doesn't matter because the end of that week you are where you are. But everything in football is perception, isn't it? It's like if we get beat tonight, we've won 1 game in 8. Therefore, pressure will be back on, and we're slipping back to being. Even though, again, my opinion, we'd be nowhere near this. At the end of the season, we'll be nowhere near it. We'll be between 10th and 13th place. Could be a touch higher. Who knows? Could hit 14th. We'll be nowhere near it. But just right now, we're getting back into that zone of uncomfortability if we were to lose. If we were to win, we'd be on 14 points, and you'd be looking going,
12.
We're actually only 4 points off Champions League place. With Fulham to come at home next week. Now, Fulham for some reason used to be the banker, the one that couldn't fail, the one that's never failed. Every year we beat them at home. We didn't even have to turn up half the time. And lately we haven't beat them.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we haven't beat them for about 4 years at home, which is crazy. We've had a couple of defeats and draws with them, which is mad. I think it was in COVID was the first time he'd ever won at Goodison. He beat us 2-0. Yeah. And I don't think we've beat them since.
So we drew with them last season. Drew with them in the Carabao Cup. Lost. So the last time we beat them at home was 2018. Beat them 3-0.
3-0. Sigurdsson scored 2. And Tosen with that header.
That is poor.
And they've been down and come back up. So since they come back up, Everton haven't beat them at Goodison. Everton haven't beat didn't beat them at Goodison, and we haven't beat them at home. So therefore, the chance to restart this next Saturday at Hill Dickinson, restart Fulham, hating coming to Merseyside, so we beat them. Yeah. If Everton were to win both games, and we're on 17 points on Saturday night.
Very different.
Then we're in a different. Everyone's talking about Europe again, because you're in that race of like trying to catch it. If Everton were to lose tonight, then all of a sudden the Fulham game becomes like, we need this to get away from that. When the reality is, it's still only going to be a few points between the two. Yeah,
it doesn't help as well though that sort of. Not saying that they're going to catch us up, whatever, but West Ham are starting to win games now, aren't they, and looking better.
Oh, well, this is the thing, isn't it? Those teams.
Because
the teams are poor, right? But it only takes a couple of wins, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. West Ham, next game is Burnley, right? That's a horrible game. They're both next to each other. So you go, a draw then. Well, that'd be all right to be a draw. You're giving them an extra point.
Sure, though, Burnley's level.
And that's just not good, is it?
No.
So, Fulham are right next to us. We've got a game in hand. If we were to win tonight, and it'd be a tough this tonight, at this moment, I can't see us winning there.
Oh, we're winning 2-1.
But it's a promoted. When you step back, Sunderland are a promoted team. They've done really well, but they're not amazing.
No.
And Everton, I've got, last season we went and won at grounds we didn't expect to. Moyes ground out results, and we're going to have to do that tonight. I guess at minimum, Everton will be looking for 4 points out the next 6 going into the international break. Draw tonight and a victory on Saturday. It'd be better to get two victories, wouldn't it? And just kill it.
Absolutely, because as you said then, looking through sort of the games, it's never really like a nice little patch for Everton.
No, you can take it right up till the next time, till January. Yeah, and we've got 2 games at home in a few days, which is Bournemouth and there's another game.
Forest.
No, it's not Forest.
Before that's Newcastle.
Yeah. But if you go to January.
Oh, January. Yeah.
So you've got Bournemouth at home and Brentford at home, and is it Bournemouth and Brentford?
Brentford at home on January the 4th.
And then?
Wolves.
Okay, sorry, yeah. So Brentford and Wolves are like the first 2 in our next set of games where you look and go, good chance for 6 points. That's January.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, Everton have got plenty of footballs to play. Newcastle don't look like they're any great shakes. No. We've got them at home soon. Fulham are poor at the moment, not playing the way we know they can. They've lost half the games. So there's an opportunity there on Saturday. Forest aren't great.
United.
We've got them home. United away is tough now. United away is always tough for us, even when other teams are going there, and Bournemouth have gone there and won 3-0 and 4-0 or something in the last couple of years. You're looking at it like that. So we've got to start getting on a little run of being nice and durable and difficult to beat again. And if we do that, if we can get a result tonight, and it's difficult, don't get me wrong, then that'll change again. It change everyone's sort of the way everyone's feeling. People start feeling more confident.
Yeah.
Going into Saturday then, and we need a big boost. We had those couple of back-to-back wins in August. We've only won once since, and that ain't great,
No.
is it?
No. And I think Sunderland as well. A good team this season. They've been well. You know, they've essentially bought a whole new first 11, and it's worked for them. But as you said, this like they are a promoted team, so it's like there's always one, isn't there, every season where they'll start dead well and then they'll eventually fall off. So hopefully we're like the catalyst for them falling off. That's what I'm hoping. It'd be interesting though how Everton sort of line up, because you think Moyes will make any drastic changes for this game?
I don't know, to be honest. I looked at it. I think he should. Do I think he should? 100% I think he should, right? But I look at it and go, it just wouldn't surprise me tonight when that team comes out at 7:15. If it's Pickford in goal, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Keane, Michalenko, Garner, Dewsbury Hall, Grealish and Jai and Beto.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, yeah.
Did you not think it was interesting though? I know he did it for Crystal Palace when he played James Garner at right back, but that was obviously forced because of injuries and we didn't have anyone ready to replace. But do you think it was interesting that he put James Garner at right back against Spurs, like not really forced to?
I thought it was interesting
that he's looking at that,
because that to me means that he was looking at that thinking, well, James, looking at you, Jake O'Brien isn't offering us anything going forward, and we need to try and get on the front foot.
Yeah, because he spoke Jake O'Brien up a lot, hasn't he? Saying he's doing a good job there, and obviously it's not his position, but that was the first time where it's not been forced that he has played James Garner there instead, and I just thought that was interesting that he's now starting to sort of make that change himself. Because I know obviously people have been calling for it online and people have said he should be playing there for ages, but with how good like Maitland Rolls looked since he's came in, do you think there's a chance even Roll could start and Garner's at right back?
Well, he really likes Roll, doesn't he?
Roll does look a really good player, though.
Roll looks good. No, what the problem is, right? The only issue I think we've got in the midfield is a bit of the makeup of the midfield. We've got good players who are all, I think there's some good footballers in our midfield. But it's like, who really sits for us?
Yeah.
Is it James Garner? Not sure.
It's almost like we don't have any specialists, isn't it?
No,
they all want to be box to box.
And Adrisha goes hunting.
Yeah.
Which is fine. No problem. He goes hunting. And Dewsbury Hall sometimes is too advanced.
Yeah.
So he's in between. I think he's been really, I don't think he had a good game against Spurs, but I think overall he's been a really good signing. And he's given us the wit.
You're not like Ped.
No,
the opposite.
Ped's emotional, isn't he? You know, Dewsbury Hall will play well tonight, and he'll say he's amazing. But that's fine. But for me, I think he gets on the ball and tries to, but he's either caught out like too high up, but not affecting the game, or he's too deep and not affecting the game. Whereas I'd like Everton, if we're going to play with two players who are essentially like holding midfielders, but not really, but
yeah,
I've got one eye on keeping the door shut, say, which I think he might do tonight. I think he'd be better having Dewsbury Hall as one. And then it's what do you do with the other one? So is it Idrissa? Sometimes, one of them, if it's Idrissa, one of them have got to talk to the other. You've got to go, I'm going, you stay. Because you can't leave that pocket. Is it Maitland Roll? Well, then does Idrissa come out the team? There's always a worry with Idrissa coming out the team. Okay, so it's Idrissa and it's Dewsbury Hall and Roll. What does James Garner do? James Garner going to right back? Well, that's okay if he's going to right back because he's getting a bit extra. Not only can he defend, but he's good on the ball, so that's okay.
Cross, yeah.
Not a problem there. So it's Roll and Dewsbury Hall who've never played together, but look as though they can. I would have Charlie Alcaraz ahead of them because he is the one that drives forward. Now, the manager might look and go, I want a bit more insurance rather than what Alcaraz, even though personally I think Alcaraz is the one who is really an issue for us because I think he's played really well and we need to get him in because he seems to create more and drive through and get shots away. So therefore, if we're not going to go with him, that gives you a bit more. You can either have Roll, Dewsbury or Idrissa, whichever way.
You know, when we were first looking at Roll and we were talking about him and people were saying he's sort of like a 10, would you play Roll sort of behind the striker? just because, you know, when he came on, was it against City, and he had that, like, good header and stuff like that, and he just looked good on the ball, and obviously his height and something that David Moyes, you know, like a Souček, Souček sort of played behind the striker, but he sort of played in the midfield, he fits that sort of role of just being big. Do you think that would be something you consider, maybe?
Possibly.
All drops deeper?
Possibly. I just think when you look at us, like, well, when Roll gets on, he seems to be able to do a bit of everything.
Yeah,
he seems like he's got good engine. He seems to get about the pitch really well. He's had a header on Sunday that it's 50 pence headed it, but he got on the end of it. The cross, and he knows you could see his face, he should have done, and he should have. He got a clear header, and it's at the top of his head. And he headed that in, it was 2-0 at that time. That goes in, it's 2-1, isn't it? So he might be able to do that job.
Because I'm just thinking, like, sort of attacking wise, say if Tayo Grealish gets in, they're whipping the ball into, I don't know, a Barry in a roll or a Beto in a roll. It sort of looks better than Dewsbury Hall being there, doesn't it?
But I think Dewsbury Hall is better for deeper with on the ball.
Yeah, that's
Do you know
what I mean.
And the other thing as well, I don't know, maybe Moyes should consider is maybe thinking about Dewsbury Hall as a left back. At times as an attacking sort of option on that left-hand side. But he's going to be he's sort of going to be saying, let's keep it tight, isn't he? We know he is.
Yeah.
It's trying to get these grand results out. I think he'd be happy with a draw tonight.
Have you noticed as well that sort of Dewsbury Hall, when we were first like playing, he was mostly over on the left, sort of linking up with Grealish. But it felt like the past few games he's been going more to the right with Ndai. I was just noticing that on the weekend, that he was a lot more on the right than the left, and I feel like the connection that him and Grealish had originally was what was making us win games, you know, like the Wolves goal.
But he was running past the striker, wasn't he? And he's not really done that lately.
That's what I mean. I feel like something's changed with his role.
I don't know. It's an interesting one, because I think Alcaraz deserves a go. He works hard, runs around, gets up and down, can shoot. He's the one who sort of breaks the lines, and he's the one who feeds the striker as well. Yeah, I think that's where he's got all his options. They're in midfield.
Yeah.
Aldi.
Right now, there isn't sort of this is what you should do.
See, I look at it.
Because there's even like Irabunum and stuff. Irabunum when he came on against Palace.
Yeah, I love Idrissa. Love him, but if he's not doing as well, or they look at it and go, then take him out and let him do his work in a half an hour period for the last half an hour. You've got options, you know, you've got Dewsbury Hall, Roll, James Garner, Irabunum, Idrissa Garner Gay, you can all, and Charlie Alcaraz.
Yeah.
You've almost got two sets of midfield there.
The issue is, though, it's like, as you said, there's not really, I don't know, it's sort of like a specialist sort of like sitting. It's all like they all want to play the same role, which is doesn't really work.
It can only work if there's good communication.
Yeah.
If you're going, I've got to stay. You know, that's how football ever. When it used to be 4-4-2, and the midfield players were in a 6 or an 8 or a 10, they were just midfield players, and your expectation as a midfield player was you got up and down all day. Yeah. And if you went, your mate sat. And if your mate sat, you went. And that was football. And you had the wingers, and you had the strikers, and there was tons of goals, and the fullbacks bombed on.
Yeah.
That can all still happen. You've got to talk. You know, Everton always seen, if you watch Everton attack, a lot of the times, we have 5 back and 5 attacking.
Yeah.
And you go, and in some respects, that's too many. I said this last season with Dyche's tactics at times. No one breaks on you with more than 4 players, really. A breakaway I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So then, theoretically, you can always go man for man with a 4v4, but no one's leaving 4 up. So if you think about it, say your 2 centre-backs are on the halfway line and one of your midfielders is sat in front of them in a triangle, right? Your fullback should be able to be high. That then leaves you with your 2 wide players, your 2 fullbacks, there's 4, your centre-forward and 2 midfielders. You should have 7 players attacking, really. Not all, doesn't always play out like that, but some of the time when you've got the ball and you're building up, you should be having 7 sort of players able to affect it. Because if the ball breaks down and they break, you've already got 3, and the chances are the opposition will have 1. So 3 lads are looking after 1. And then you should have players who are able to break
Get back in time.
against the players who are breaking, if that makes sense, chasing them. But you're still outnumbering the striker 3-1.
Yeah.
So it's very rare you should get caught, right? We don't sort of do that. We don't really get caught on the counter-attack unless we make basic errors because we've thrown caution to the wind. But even that Tottenham goal last week, that made it 3-0. We had enough men back. People just stopped running.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
People, because at the 89th minute, Mail and Roll let Papa Mate Sarr run off him and he shouldn't have done. But yet, Michael Keane didn't get out quick enough. Mm-hmm. We didn't react to the knock into the middle. Roll didn't react there. The goalkeeper didn't react either till it was at the pass. And there's all little bits you can go, we could have done that better, that better, that better, and that better. But in general, for most of that game, we sort of push up as if we're attacking, but we don't fully commit. Like Jake O'Brien, for a lot of that game, could have been steaming in on the far post.
Like they went to
but he didn't. He sort of sat and went, no, I'll stay with me 2 centre-backs, even though they only had 1 forward.
Yeah.
So we're almost outnumbered anyway, which means when Grealish is holding it up and waiting for overlaps and Michalenko's running around in circles because he doesn't know where to run to overlap it because it's not natural to him, nobody else moves. We all sort of just walk, and the only tactic seems to be hold it up, then roll it back for the James Garner shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, people should be moving, pulling players all over the place. And that may be where you need energetic midfielders making runs as well. So, but you've got to have that one who's disciplined. Yeah. Now, if that one's James Garner, fine. If James Garner's right back and he's trying to join in, who's the other one that sits then? Who's the one that's going to replace
It's normally Idris, isn't it? Because he's got like, I don't know, bendy legs where you can just get a tackle in from anywhere.
Okay, well, if it's Idrissa, then say to Idrissa, right, you need to stay.
But he loves a shot.
But he likes to get involved, and you've got Roll. But I think with Alcaraz, he seems to be the only one who can knit it together and break. And Roll might be able to do, we haven't seen enough of it. When he's come on, he's been in midfield and he's just been all action. Dewsbury Hall, I think, is good at recycling it and moving it and getting it and passing it and playing nice little patterns and being busy.
Yeah.
But when he's up with Beto, he does, or Barry if it's that, Dewsbury Hall isn't one who's knocking it in and then going beyond the striker.
No.
Because even when you think back to like his goal at Wolves, we threw everyone out and it was Grealish, and then he made the run and he just dinked it into him. And in the first half he'd done it, but we had bodies in the box. But Brighton, he was the one picking the ball and going with it. But like you said, more over to the left-hand side with Grealish, where Alcaraz burst through the middle. And when we saw it against Crystal Palace and Dewsbury Hall wasn't there, when Alcaraz came on at half-time,
it was all a passing.
He destroyed their box midfield because he was willing to run past the striker.
Yeah.
And there was the one that he headed between everyone and ran onto it and smashed it, and the keeper tips over. Yeah. He's instrumental in the winning goal, plays it round the side for the guy to cross it. He's driving on, slapping into tackles, stretching their midfield, and making the centre-backs have to come out.
Making everyone just a bit uncomfortable.
Whereas any Premier League team, if the team just goes into a low block against you, and you haven't got runners who are moving them round.
Because it sort of feels like, doesn't it, that a lot this season we get the ball and it just sort of goes round and round. And for teams like, I don't know, like Man City, you do that as well. Because their players are so elite, they can get like that exact pinpoint pass, but our players aren't at that level, so we don't always get like the exact passes and stuff. So
I've heard Liverpool fans, I was talking to a couple of dads over the weekend, and they were saying, oh, you know, it's hard because like most teams are playing in a low block or whatever. It's like, yeah, but you've just spent a ton of money, you've got world-class players, so, or you've got players who are real top draw. Imagine what it's like when we do it. And we haven't got top. We've got some. Don't get me wrong. Everton have got like Njai's really good and Grealish is brilliant. We haven't got a top draw centre forward. We haven't got a top draw number 10 who's unbelievable. We haven't got midfielders breaking. Yet we're still trying to do what some of these top teams are doing or finding.
Yeah. And Liverpool's bench costs more than Everton's new stadium. that's all we need to know about it.
See, and that's why
was moaning about how he can't compete with like Arsenal because of squad depth when you've just spent $500 million.
Yeah, he's another guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
But if you look at it, that's why I think the manager does have to mix it up and try new things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see, because he's got better players now. But again, we'll still come back to And again, this was something that was said over the weekend with Liverpool. They only had one new signing in their starting 11 at the weekend, and they spent $500 million in the summer.
Yeah.
But you bring that down to us on a much lower level. We only start with 2 new signings when we brought 7 in.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of an issue there, and I think that's why the manager does have to look at maybe mixing it up. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same team.
Because if all the conversations we had over the summer and stuff talking about the Everton team of how many players we needed, I think if you would have told us then that we'd only have 2 players you would actually start for us, I think our heads would fall off. Because the team needed a lot of improvement anyway. So...
Isn't it mad though, right, that I said this as well, isn't it mad with, you know, when you look at it and you go, you see like these other teams with bloody players who just have teams and go, you know, goals come, score a goal from anywhere and go, wait, has he got a history of scoring goals? He haven't. We don't even have that, do we?
No.
We don't have that, like, where, Michalenko will just bang, like, have a couple of goals. You know, he had like that run the other year, didn't he? Scored that header and that, you know, and he scored a screamer against Leicester. Then he didn't get one for ages. Then he got a header at Palace, and was like on the, you know, on the end of things. And it, like, where are those? Like, and our centre backs?
Yeah, because you look at our team and it's always like the front 3 will get about 4 goals each, maybe, and then no one else will get one. And it'll just be, or Michael Keane will have like 2, but like our midfielders don't always pick one up. It's just stuff like, it is frustrating. But
then again, you know, I guess if the way to look at it going into this one is, if you want to be be positive about it, and there's been stuff to be positive definitely about it. There's not really been a game that we've been just not in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the probably the worst game we've played all season was Leeds, wasn't it, on day 1?
Yeah,
for that first half,
Leeds
we were
terrible.
absolutely atrocious in that first 45.
Still shouldn't have lost it, though.
We shouldn't have lost it.
That wasn't a pen.
We shouldn't have lost it. There was a dodgy penalty and all that, right? But that Leeds game was, the first half was dreadful. It really was. Second half, Everton controlled it without really carving them open, but we did have chances to score. You know, Alcaraz forced a good save out the keeper. Tarkowski somehow put the ball over the bar from underneath the bar. Don't know how we managed that. The penalty, you know, a lot of people were split over it, weren't they? You know, then we lost the next defeat was it Liverpool was the second defeat, wasn't it? We were in that game.
Yeah.
We could have got something out of that. You know, they were good for the first half an hour, and then after that, they were just sitting back in. You know, Wolves in the cup was poor, don't get me wrong. Terrible. But there was wasn't the proper and all that. That was poor, don't get me wrong. But in the Premier League, I mean, City, Beto's got two opportunities to get a goal. And then, obviously, Tottenham last week, we were
multiple chances
against chances, and we were, you know, you look at if you step back, you look at the Spurs game and go, Everton with the better side, really. Yeah. That all more, you know, more chances, more whatever you go through it all. But the reality is we don't score goals, and that's why we're getting bitten on the arse.
It's what's the most frustrating bit about Everton, though, isn't it? Is that probably for years you could say, like, with Calvert-Lewin when with Beto and stuff last season, that's like we were always like, oh, we played well, but we just got unlucky or we didn't do it and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, we would have scored that though. And now you look at Everton's team and you'd argue our 2 best players are all wingers, and attacking-wise was still crap. It's so frustrating. Just it feels like it's the same thing year after year.
Is there a case for you where you would think of playing Jack Grealish centrally then?
I would, yeah. I just think
just to see what it brings, because we know how good he is wide left, and he is very good wide left. And Jai's done quite well on the right. He has. So if you stuck in Jai back on the left,
yeah,
and then what through Dibbling in.
I think I feel like reading sort of the articles that came up with the Echo and stuff, they're using Grealish as sort of like a mentor, aren't they, anyway, for Dibbling, and like because they do have a similar play style, so it's like, say if Grealish was down the middle and we hadn't down the left and he's playing there, maybe it's beneficial to Dibbling to sort of be playing next to Grealish and seeing how he does it and sort of evolve his game through playing. And I feel like at this point, attacking wise, if it's not going to be Alcaraz and Beto or whatever, then what harm is there really in trying? Grealish, we're forcing the ball out to him to the left anyway, so we might as well force it down the middle and let him sort of look for Ndiaye and look for Diblin, rather than him just looking for Mikalenko all the time. So,
yeah, I think the manager's got to look at different ways now. I think he's got some good players. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not going to rewrite history because I thought he bought some good players in the summer. So I'm not going to go back and go, no, we got it all wrong, because I don't think that's correct. Barry needs a goal.
Desperately.
Needs a goal. There's no question about it. And like I said, if you go through him, Dibbling, I think he'll be a good player for Everton. I just questioned at the time if he was the right signing, because we needed, for me, someone who was the outball with pace, and we just didn't address it. But he is he's a highly talented footballer, and I think he'll do quite well. Roll, it looks like he's going to get a chance anyway. He's sort of forcing his way in there. Grealish and Dewsbury Hall play anyway. So we're left with, out of the plays, Alcaraz, really, who's been unlucky. And then Aston, who quite clearly is going to go on loan, isn't he?
It just feels like it's sort of the same story every time, though, doesn't it? And it has been for a while. And that's what is frustrating. But I think, didn't you say you went through Barry's goals and he started off slowly with Villarreal and then sort of kicked on?
He's done it everywhere he's gone. He's done sort of the same thing. He's had to have that time adjustment, but in a couple of those, his first sort of goals have dropped in the box and he's knocked it in, and then he's got up and running. He likes crosses. He likes getting across the defender for headers.
That's why I think it does make more sense to play a Barry, though, because
he's the investment.
We've seen the stats of what he can be or has been in like the top 5 leagues with head and stuff. And
see, I just look at Beto and think, if you're going to use him, right?
Got to play him in.
If you're going to use him, then use him in the last half an hour of games. For now, I keep saying it, and I know some people will disagree, and that's fine, no problem. But I would go in on Barry for the next 4 to 6 games, and just be like, you're my centre forward. You're starting.
Yeah.
Beto, you've had a run and it hasn't worked, so let's see if we can refresh you.
But you know what's going to happen, though, don't you?
Of course.
It's what's happened with Everton and all of them. It's going to be Beto will come on and score a goal. People say, oh, he's turned it round, and then Beto will start, and then Barry will come on and play well, and it's just that cycle. But I think you're right. I think if Moyes is going to say Barry's playing, then he's got to stick to Barry's playing the next 4 games or whatever. Yeah. You can't let Beto come in and score and sort of affect it, even though it's a tough situation, isn't it?
Frustrating. Is there any way, we'll get some comments now, is there any way you would go with Ndiaye through the middle? Just mix it up all together?
One of my main frustrations when I watch Everton is that, when Pickford or someone gets the ball and they just hit it up to Beto, and obviously that's not Beto's game, so he doesn't really win the header or get the foul or whatever. And I feel like if we're going to play Ndiaye there, we're going to have probably the exact same situation, but even worse without sort of the physicality element. So I feel like if Ndiaye does go through the middle, which I know he did for Sheffield United and for Marseille, it's going to have to be a big sort of change of tactics for everyone, isn't it? Because we can't just be hoofing the ball up to him and expect him to be like a Calvert-Lewin and heading it down, because it's not his game. It's not even close to being his game. So I don't think it's the sort of, I don't think it's the ideal situation. I think I'd be more inclined to put Alcaraz up front than Ndiaye. So I feel like he has got sort of the physicality about him and that aggression where he might not win every header, but I feel like he caused the defenders quite a bit of unrest, and maybe you have then an Ndiaye behind him and they work off each other. But I wouldn't start Ndiaye up front by himself.
Yeah, fair play. I would go, a couple of people have said, Daniel Barton said didn't Barry post my turn on Insta.
Yeah, and he's got loads of Everton retro shirts.
Yeah, so fair play to him. And also,
would you start Ndiaye front? Just out of curiosity.
Not at this stage, but I do understand why people are saying, why don't we have a look at it? Because he seems the most natural one to get a goal at the moment, and the others aren't getting them. So I can see why people are asking for it. My issue would be the right-hand side. You know, that's for me. But Leighton says, Baz, I'd tell Barry, you've got till January, then I'm looking at bringing someone else in.
Yeah.
I'd just give him some games and go, you're the striker. You've got at least 4 games. Just relax, go out and play your game. Get involved, be busy, make the runs, get yourself between the sticks, and get us a goal, you know. And Beto can come on with half an hour left and knock people about and get that little bit of grip between his teeth. Bit angry, you know, and show it. But it's sort of, I think, because you've sort of got to play your way into understanding the league.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether. I just feel like we've had 9 games, and I feel like maybe we have to look at it.
It's a big issue, isn't it? Because when we were speaking then, we talked about City and Beto missed 2 chances, different game if he scores them. Even with the Tottenham game, Beto has a chance, different game, and it's like, how many times can he sort of get away with it? Yeah, it's like, how many times can he get away with it? It's just frustrating. He's got 1 goal, is it? 1 goal, yeah. It's like,
well, that Gomez for Brighton got 2 in 6 minutes the other day, and that was more than both of our strikers combined. So, Steve P says the amount of fans who seem to think Alcaraz is a genuine option on the wing is baffling. He's never been a winger and never will be. If you look at the positions he's played centre mid the most, so why not just play him in his actual position?
He has played striker a bit before, hasn't he? Have I made that up? Because remember when we first got linked to him?
I don't think.
Was it not?
I think he's played off the left for Flamingo, to be fair.
10 times he's played up front.
But how many?
10.
Yeah.
Obviously the most is midfield. 78.
Centre mid, yeah.
But I just remember when he signed that, it was first advertised that Everton have signed like a striker from a Brazilian club, and then obviously it worked back. And
Chris says, afternoon lads, left-footed forwards seem to make scoring look effortless, especially when through on goal. Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Messi, Griezmann, or is it just me? Or have you just named unbelievable footballers with left foots? But they do make it look effortless, but the ones you've listed are just generally very good. Graham Lloyd says, afternoon Toffees, hoping to see DH in midfield tonight with Jake in the centre-back position, Tarkovsky and Garner at right-back. It's only a hope, though, as I think Moyes will stick with the same lineup. Bill says, I hate Monday night football. All our anticipation and focus and waiting around while everyone else plays just to be disappointed. Hope we turn up tonight. It's a very tough game. I'm going to keep banging the Alcaraz drum. To me, he's our best number 10. Drives forward, slips forwards in and shoots. I'm baffled why Moyes overlooks him so often. I get Dewsbury-Hall's been decent, but he does not run beyond the forward, and we desperately need that, especially when both forwards are struggling. Anyway, here's to a result tonight. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, for me, Dewsbury-Hall would be deeper.
Well, he said in that interview himself, didn't he, that this isn't his position.
Yeah. Alex says, afternoon lads, we'll make a couple of changes tonight. Alcaraz and Röhl in for Keane and Dewsbury-Hall. Move Garner to right back and O'Brien to centre back. Also, do you think it's an issue or worth mentioning? By the time we play United, we will have played 4 of the 11 on a Monday, 3 of which are away. You know those lot across the park would moan if it was them. Yeah. I heard United's games in December, though. They've got 6 games in December and 5 of them are 8 o'clock kickoffs.
Ooh.
And I'm sure something like
That's your worst nightmare.
3 or 4 of them are at home. Yeah, depressing. Adam says, feels like these next 2 games are huge for changing the narrative. 6 points seems unlikely, but if we managed it, we'd be in touch with those European spots. However, a couple of poor results and things will be moody.
They are all 8 o'clock. So
mad, isn't it?
Everton's 8.
Yeah.
And they play Palace's 12. Then they play West Ham 8 o'clock. Wolves 8 o'clock. Bournemouth 8 o'clock. Then Aston Villa are 4. But then Newcastle 8 o'clock. Wolves 8:15. Then they played Leeds at 12. But then Burnley at 8:15.
It's mad,
isn't it? To January 7th. And the majority of it.
That's just crazy, isn't it? Chris Pearson says, afternoon boys, just got my auto renewal from Prem for December the 3rd for $49.20 for the full year, less than £1 a week. Brilliant value. Thank you very much, Chris, for your ongoing support. Much appreciated. And we're trying to improve it. We're looking at ways to make it even better for you. So thank you very much. Paul Davies says, went to Conway Bakery on Saturday. Baz, great iced things. They're tremendous, mate. Well done. I'm jealous. I hope you enjoyed it. Jez D says, for anyone going to Sunderland, Merseyside police have announced that coins, vapes and power banks are not allowed in the stadium. Good luck with that if you have your ticket on your phone, etc.
That's weird with the power
Coins?
banks. Yeah, coins, you have to donate it to charity.
Oh, okay.
That's what they put out, but power banks is a weird one as well. Why aren't you?
Don't know. Anyway, I'll watch this one from behind the couch if Moyes doesn't shake it up. Daniel says, afternoon, lads. I spoke to a few people on Saturday after the rugby. Said the ground's amazing, but ran out of beer for the second half. Toilets are small and packed, plus getting back into town was a nightmare. Mate stuck in his car for 2 hours just outside the town. Stuck in rugby traffic and football traffic. Cancel out a joke. Yeah, crazy. Georgie Redmond says, and Jai in the João Pedro role.
But
Bill says, maybe it's me, but it feels like whatever we do, we end up in the same place. We've said that, haven't we? Derek says, criticising Moyes makes me sound like a whiny Hammers fan, but the obvious lack of thought or preparation into set piece is a major black mark against them. Last season, well-drilled set pieces were our saviour, when just like this season, goals were hard to come by, and I'm sure 99% of the fan base are baffled why we don't have any invention or variation on our set pieces. This was highlighted against Spurs, which you didn't pick up on, which is unusual because you pick up on most things. I think we did mention how poor our set pieces were, but anyway. But now Rory Delap has risen from the dead and walks the earth. We had a long throw into their box, which was taken by Jake O'Brien. 8'12", Jake O'Brien. That's, yes, Jake O'Brien, which screams to me that they're making it up as they go along. Moyes should be squeezing every goal-scoring opportunity out the team, and we can only hope it doesn't prove his undoing, because patience doesn't appear to be part of the DNA of TFG. Yeah, I listen, maybe Jake O'Brien's throw-ins are longer than James Garner's, but James Garner's got a good long throw-in.
How is your... Say if Moyes just put the same team out, essentially, that we put against Tottenham, what's your sort of view on that? And, like, your patience with Moyes? Is that, like, frustrating?
It'll be frustrating. I don't know whether patience. I'm not at the stage of going, what's he doing? But I would think, you've got a squad there, use it. It's not working what we're doing, so mix it up. I think it's always good for the team. If they're in it and you're not winning, you see the manager change something. I think that's always good for the team, because I think they look and go, he's trying to do different things. I see this was one of the criticisms we had with Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
It's one of the criticisms that happened with Frank Lampard. And you see it with other clubs and other managers. If something isn't working, mix it up, change it, give it a refresh. Paul Williams says, really positive about where we are. We've come a long way in the last 10 months. Really open. Beto and Barry get a goal tonight and get us moving up the table. Nice one, Paul. Josh says, last visit to Sunderland, Ron banged in an 11-minute hat-trick. Our current strikers couldn't get 3 goals in 11 games right now. Bert says, love the general footy chat. Should be more of this on Toffee TV. Can't talk about Everton every second of the day. Already depressed. Don't know, a few people were moaning we weren't talking about Everton. Jay said, I said 6 weeks ago, at least we're not worrying about Leeds, Burnley, West Ham and Forest results anymore. We lose tonight, we're back in familiar territory, the relegation scrap. I love Moyes and really want him to succeed, but the question is, though, do the Freakins love Moyes? They sacked Roma royalty without any hesitation.
They lost last night, didn't they?
They got beat, but they would have gone top if they'd have won. So they are
flying. Missed the pen.
Bert says, tough game tonight, lads, but Everton do well historically against Sunderland. Another defeat and questions would need to be asked. Royal Blue Rich says, hi, lads, the whole squad is fitting in decent form. Who'd be your starting 11?
Pickford, Michalenko, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, James Garner, Drisa, Garnagay, Roll, no, Dewsbury, Grealish, Alcaraz, and Dye. 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 Beto.
Will they?
Only
Fair play.
because Beto and Alcaraz work well together, don't they? Well,
Yeah, but
would yours
Barry
be
and Alcaraz might work well together. They had the chance.
Well, would yours be any different?
Barry would be in. Branthwaite moonwalks in.
Yeah.
And I would try James Garner right back now.
No, because it's just we can't have two fullbacks who are both
You don't want to go
defensive.
forwards, Jay says, I do believe we'd win tonight and get something from Fulham, and also says, did you hear the Moyes presser last week when the journo said Everton and Sunderland are very similar in terms of history? Yeah, Moyes should have absolutely launched him out of the press room. Sunderland are sound, don't get me wrong. Loads of time for Sunderland. Hope they stay up. But Everton are the fourth most or the fifth most successful club in history. So winning league titles and everything, and one of, we've won only two other teams have won a trophy in every decade in the history. So Sunderland are great. Don't get me wrong. Bigger in many ways than what Newcastle are in terms of historical stuff. But you can't say that and get away with it. And he did. I'd have made him get a coffee, leave it, put it in the freezer for 15 minutes, and then have to drink it with salt in it. Daniel Harvey says, happy James mentioned role playing in the 10. I've been thinking of that since the City game. Blue Jay says, as usual, I don't watch any footy. Everton win on a modern footy bores me. Not confident tonight. Looking at the table, we could really do with the results. Benjamin, reiterating the vapes and coins. Shout nice on Ben. Jake says, not looking forward to tonight at all. Got to dig in here and not let them get momentum. Eddie says, y'all, I hope the video that Beto's family made for him helped them out. Did you see that?
No.
He'd done some Premier League productions, had done it, I think, showing him, people talking about him, and how he's made it against all the odds, and his mum saying he loves him at the end. He's like, oh, come on, guys, this is too serious. It's like nearly crying on it. So, yeah, hopefully that'll give him a kick. A shot in the arm, as they say. Paul Williams says, I agree, we need to look at our midfield. I mean that in terms of what's best for the combination. It makes sense for me to include Alcaraz. I do think he can interact better with Beto and Barry. I think I'm becoming guilty of trying to get our best players on the pitch sometimes, especially when we're struggling. I'd try Dibbling up front rather than Jai. Okay. Bill says, the lack of pace and a right back for years has baffled me about Harry. It is mad. I do find it mad. That no one in the recruitment conversation said, do you think we better try and get an option in for just pure pace off the bench? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It just feels like there were so many holes that they've just missed.
Just going on to, I think Kev Carroll's responding to what I've just said about the Sunderland thing and the cold coffee, I think, says that reporter should be waking up to Orange Club crumbs in his bed every morning. Yeah. But yeah, Kev. But definitely. DJ Obar says, watched Everton 3 Brien 1 this morning from the 85 semi-final just to cheer me up. Yeah, fantastic. Mr. Mental Man Me says, why not try both Beto and Barry up front?
I just don't feel like it'd work.
Couldn't see it, but why not?
I think they're too sort of, both too big.
Imagine if he did. Yeah, but that's chaos, isn't it? Get crosses in, get that. Crimson, I was talking about this yesterday. I still haven't forgiven Dom for the fact that we don't have Yankuba Minter in our squad. Yeah. Mark Cody says, if we leave Keane out, we'd be much better. Yeah. Just having a look here. Craig says it's weird. It's always been Sunday games that are big in Serie A when everyone wants to play. Well, they've done it here though, haven't they? That's the big games. The Sunday R4 really is. I know they've got the Saturday nights as well now, but that's the thing. But you're absolutely right. The Sunday games in Serie A were big. Saturday nights at like 8 o'clock were big, and the Sunday games. But years ago when Channel 4 had it on, the big Sunday games were like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So obviously, it'd be 2, I think, in Italy.
This might be a stupid question, but in Italy, can they watch 3 o'clock games?
In their own league?
Yeah. Can they watch Serie A 3 o'clock games?
I don't know. I know in Germany they can.
We can,
in Germany. When we went to Germany. When we went to watch Nuremberg, so they were in Bundesliga, in the top league. They play. Anyway, it's irrelevant who they played. But we went and watched Nuremberg. So we were having a pint and that in the concourse and all that, and they had live games on in the concourse of Bundesliga that were just going on. Because they were kicking off at, I think they were the 5:30 or 5 o'clock. They were kicking off.
So all the 3 o'clock.
So all the 3 o'clock games. They had like 3 games on, where we were 3 different games, just live, and everyone was watching it, having a pint and all that, and there was no sort of, oh, you can't do that, you can't be putting that game on. It's one of them, yeah.
That's mental.
So it is, man. P. Macker says, boss, that Italian footy show back in the day. Well, it was tremendous. James Richardson was fantastic. And Mr. Blue Sky says, I wonder if Pickford will get a good reception. Pickford will get
he will.
I mean, I've had loads of Sunderland fans have been on saying Pickford's going to get an unbelievable reception. Yeah. Moyes is going to get a horrific reception.
He'll be like Richarlison.
Yeah, he'll be like Richarlison for that, but Moyes will be like...
You think Moyes will get a bad one?
They've said he's going to get destroyed for the way he managed them. And then sort of washed his hands of everything at the end of it. So that's going to be an interesting one tonight. But I imagine Pickford will get a tremendous reception because he's never hidden. He's never hidden how much he loves Sunderland. He's never hidden how much he hates Newcastle. He's still, you think he's gone back to watch Sunderland. He wanted to go to one of the playoff games, didn't he? But Everton were playing, weren't they? And he couldn't. In fact, we're Everton at Newcastle the next day when they were playing. And he was like, the manager wouldn't let me go because he knew I'd be out on the last week of one or something. Being very honest. So how fans of Sunderland wouldn't love him. Why wouldn't he? So yeah, he'll get a tremendous reception, whereas David Moyes apparently is in line for a horrific reception from the Sunderland fans. Where apparently every time he stands up, he spends most of the game stood up, but they were saying every time he stands up, he's going to get mass boos. But if they boo him constantly when he's standing up, then isn't that going to feel to the Sunderland players as if they're almost getting booed through the whole game? So there might be a little bit of conflict there. They might have to rethink that strategy. Like the last few on Premier. Jake Ablett says, played my first 90-minute game in 8 years yesterday. Feel like I've been hit by a train. Wait till tomorrow. It's normally 2 days after it when all the lactic acid is in your muscles. And Charlie Freak says, very confident we'll get a win tonight. Up the Toffees. I like it, Charlie. I like it. Why not? Just Everton, go there and win. Tough game. Just go and win. Be boss if you did. And then we'll all be buzzing tomorrow. Right. Take it easy, like, subscribe, do all that. See you later. Bye.